Hey guys, finally doing that video of the symptoms that I'd been talking about for a couple weeks. This will take us from December 1st, from the time that Marcy and I tested positive, to December 6th when I actually went into the hospital. And then I'll make some subsequent videos to to capture what happened in the hospital, because there were some crazy things that happened in the hospital as well. So taking us back to December 1st, that's when we tested positive, and we went to a local ER, a standalone ER that we have here in Texas. And the doctor, once we had tested positive, he was came out very nonchalant, and he was like, "Hey guys, I'm going to prescribe you some steroids and an albuterol inhaler thing, and you won't even need it. Don't even worry. Just go home, get some rest. You'll be fine." So he was very nonchalant about it. So we, went home feeling pretty good. Oh, this shouldn't be too bad. We're just feeling a little tired. So that night, not much. Just was kind of tired, and slept the night through. Wasn't too bad. But on December 2nd, that's when we woke up, or when I woke up, and my chest was tight. So I could definitely feel something, going on inside my chest. And the other thing that I knew wasn't right was, at this point, it was extreme exhaustion. So I'm not a day sleeper or nap taker. So it was not like me to just be passed out on the couch all day long. I really didn't want to do anything. So again, I thought my taste and smell was going. I think that may have even been a mental thing. But I kept my taste and smell. Marcy lost her taste and smell for about a week. So that was not one of my symptoms, but I kind of thought it was at first, but I retained all of that. So again, December 2nd wasn't too horrible. It was, again, very tired, a little bit of tightness in the chest. So slept all night December 2nd into December 3rd. And, December 3rd was a lot like December 2nd. Exhausted, just could not get up to do anything. And then that night is kind of when the night sweat started, and I just didn't feel right. I had a small fever, but nothing too bad. Nothing that you would think was life threatening or anything like that. Excuse me. And then we get into December 4th. So this is when, things are really starting to pick up. This is when my fever spiked to 103.8. So that was the time when we said, okay, it's time to go to the hospital. We actually called an ambulance at that point, because we really didn't know exactly what to do. And the ambulance got here, and they said, if there is any way that you can transport him, just do it, because they were so busy treating non-COVID stuff that they had to do stuff to the ambulance and things to transport me. So Marcy said, yeah, no worries, we'll just take him. So took me to Texas Presbyterian. It was the hospital that Marcy's father-in-law, we've taken him, so it's kind of one we were used to. And they were extremely busy. So I went in there, sat there, and by this time I felt horrible with 103-degree fever, almost 104-degree fever. I mean, I really felt the pain at this point. So they had to wheel me in one of those waiting room wheelchairs, and that's where I sat for the next 9 hours. It was horrible. People kind of knew which ones of us had COVID, because they mixed us right into the main waiting room. And I'd never felt this before, but there were literally people coming in, pointing at me, pointing at people, saying, "I can't be in here. These people have COVID. I'm going to die," which I totally understand. But it was a real weird feeling. I was so sick. I just, kept my head down the whole time, and, was just trying to get through, to get to my appointment, get a doctor to see me. So still just waiting. And they finally took me in, got me some x-rays. Um, they came back and they said, yeah, you have pneumonia. I was like, oh, okay, great. But again, they weren't too worried about it. So, and I hadn't done any, a lot of research. So I didn't know exactly what it meant. But if they come and say you have pneumonia and you have COVID, it's time to really start thinking about what you need to do. Because I didn't. I was like, oh, okay, I've had pneumonia before. No big deal. So then I'm sitting there and sitting there and sitting there waiting to see if they're going to admit me or if they're going to give me a treatment or whatever. They're so busy, they come out, they give me an IV sitting in the waiting room. So now I'm sitting in the waiting room with an IV in one of those hard wheelchairs. It's been about 6 hours at this point, and people are still coming in and they see you and they're freaking out. So this was a rough day. And then they finally pulled me in and said, you know what? You do have COVID pneumonia. You already have steroids. We're going to just send you home. We're just going to add Singulair to your prescription list. And I was like, okay. So I called Marcy and I was like, hey, I do have COVID pneumonia, but they said that I can come home. They gave me an IV. And at this point, still wasn't, I felt horrible, but wasn't super scared at this point. And then, when we got home, I can't remember if we had posted something to Facebook or if we had made some calls, but a family member had reached out to us and said, before you go fill the Singulair and those prescriptions, get an oximeter at CVS. You're going to need one of those, through this battle. Would have never have even guessed. So Marcy went to CVS. She had to go through the drive-through window because she was positive, so she couldn't go in. So they literally gave us Pedialyte, vitamin D, zinc, an oximeter, and then our prescriptions. They gave it to us all through the window. We were able to pay for it through the window, which was a godsend because we couldn't get in to get it. So that was kind of the first head spinning kind of ordeal. A lot was going on. I wasn't feeling good. Marcy wasn't feeling good. And we were trying to scramble around to get some of this stuff in the house. So we knew it. So I would definitely, the first feeling of any of this, go get, Pedialyte, zinc, D, and by all means an oximeter, because that literally saved my life. So we're using all that. My oxygen's fine at this point. We go into December 5th. My symptoms were pretty much the same, tight chest. Oxygen was okay. It was like at 95, so wasn't really concerned, but I was starting to get that out of breath feeling when I moved. So if I moved from like the bed to the couch or something like that, at this point I was sucking wind, kind of like at the end, when I was just sucking wind that I didn't have, and my body would shake. And I read somewhere that those are kind of you can have lung spasms too. So when I was trying to breathe deep, it would shake. So that was kind of a weird feeling. That's another sign. If you're out of breath and you're shaking a little bit, that means your lungs are struggling. So that takes us, I made it all the way through that day and night, and then December 6th rolls around. So I can't remember, it was mid-morning. It was a really nice morning. The sun was shining. So me and Marcy, we were like, oh, let's try to go out to the back and get some sun and, some vitamin D, right? We lasted 5 minutes out there. I couldn't breathe. I was miserable. And it just was not doing it. It just didn't feel right. So we made it 5 minutes outside. And then that's when I decided, when I came in about an hour later, I was like, okay, I am going to check my oxygen. And it was 90, and my heart rate was slightly elevated. So I'm like, oh, this is not good. So then I'm just looking at it, and then it goes to 87, and my heart rate increases, into the 130s, into the 140. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And then immediately my O2 dropped to 83, and then went on to 78. And then my heart rate was in the 140s. So, all of this happened literally as I was taking it. So it wasn't like I took it, it was 90, I waited a little while, it was 83. It was literally as I had my pulse ox on my finger, it was going down, 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 and I could see it. So Marcy immediately called for an ambulance. We knew that that was not normal, and anything under 80 is going to hurt, your body. So we needed to get something taken care of immediately. So let's see, the paramedics, thank God, they arrived super quick. I mean, within, just a few minutes they were here. And this time they knew that they needed to take me. They came in, stretchered me up, got me all, strapped in and on oxygen at that point. And, I knew at this point that it was serious. They wheeled me out front of the house. The neighbors were all, standing around with their hands over their mouths, very worried, very concerned, and I, tried to wave at them and, keep my spirits up. It was funny. I wrap cars on the side, and I had Marcy's purple car wrapped there. And so the paramedic that was taking me out, he was like, "Hey man, I worked in shift 3 at the Frisco Fire Department." He's like, "Hit me up after you get out." He goes, "I'd love to have my car wrapped." So, it's always good to take those good memories out of a shitty situation. That's kind of what I remember about that. I remember all the neighbors, they looked so horrified, but I remember, him saying, "Hey man," so take those funny moments and hold on to them, because those are going to be some of the only things that you have for a while. And then, so they decided, to transport me right then and there. That was on December 6th. And the next time I saw Marcy was Christmas Eve. So that puts it into a little perspective of, it's just a rough go. So that kind of gives you some examples of what we ran into on the symptom side of it. And it also kind of gives you an idea when, serious is serious. It's time to get down and dirty and really make plans to combat this somehow. So again, that's kind of that part. I've got some, I'll start the next video with my experiences in the hospital, my experiences with the Airvo, the hot, humid air being forced down you, those kind of stuff, the extreme isolation, the nurses and the doctors and all of their PPE, and it was I've got some very interesting things from the hospital. So thanks for tuning in on this one. Again, this one isn't much on my progress, but this is more of, if you guys experience this, I just want to get this out to you. So again, I feel I owe this to you guys. You were there to support me. So if I can help you guys out in any way, this is my way to pay it back. I'm also going to go volunteer at the hospital as soon as I can. Those folks are so overworked. I really want to do that as well. So again, thank you. And we will talk again. I've got some good updates from today. My nurse came, so I'll do another video probably tomorrow on updates and then get my hospital stay started next. So talk to y'all later. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.